Hey guys, it's me again. So now I'm going to take you through all of the settings. Now you've got a basic idea for how we're going to be dragging things onto the page. Remember, like I said, you always need a container when you drag it onto the page. You need a container. You then need to put rows inside that container, and then inside the rows you need to put columns. So you can use the rows to start new rows, but if you want to put elements inside that row, you need to always use a column. And you can use columns to move things around as well to get the right shape to your pages. Now, let's go straight from the top and start this as if it was new with the knowledge you've just learned in the previous video. Now we can just click the body to get to the background, or over here you can press these three things and it will come up with the layers. So we're going to click body here, we're then going to click the paintbrush and we're going to add a background. So let's just add a background to our page. Now with the background, usually you want to set it to no repeat, and then you want to set the position to the center of the page, and also you want to select the size to cover so that you get a nice even cover on this page. I do apologize, my face is just right in that page. However, it's the quickest way for me to grab a photo so that I can show you how this is all done. So obviously you can change fonts here. So all you have to do is click the color and you can move the colors around. And then you just have to press save once you've selected your color. To remove this box, just press clear, and then you can move this box out of the way if you want. Also, you can change the fonts and also the boldness of these words easily by just dragging the bar here. As you can see, it gets bigger, and as you can see, it can get bolder. So really easy stuff. You could do the exact same thing for every text on this page. As you can see there, you can make it bigger, and you can also change the colors and also the weight and also the alignment of where you want it to go. Now, let me just mention on the page here. So whenever you click one of these elements, on the right hand side is going to be a bunch of settings. So you've got the general settings, you've got the dimensions, you've got the typography, which is the fonts and stuff. You've got decorations, which is borders and all that kind of stuff, shadows. And then you've got extras, which are actually for transitioning these elements coming onto your page. But that's the advanced stuff, we'll get to that later. So let's have a look in general. So you've got the flow. I always recommend leaving this at none. Same with display block, just leave it as a block. Position, you can choose where you want it to be absolute, so in the middle of the page, or whether you want to leave it where you dragged it into those columns. Again, I would recommend leaving it. So here you've also got a couple of settings for margins and stuff like that. So you can actually move the padding inside these columns to move things around. Same with the dimensions. So the dimensions, you can actually choose how big one of these elements are. For example, if you did want to change the size of an email box, you just put new dimensions into that box. Or if you wanted to change the size or the placement of the text, then you do also. If you want to leave it up to the column, then just leave it on auto and it will go fine exactly where you drop it inside the column. Now, margins. So margins are going to be how far it is in that row. For example, if we drag the right hand side margin, as you can see, it moves it across. However, doing this will mess it up so that you have to change it on mobile as well. If you always use columns, it's going to be really easy for you. This is just if you really wanted to go ahead and do a little bit more of it and change things up. So the padding, so this is going to be how far away it is from other elements. So as you can see here, if we go right, it's going to move it again. If we go top, it's going to move it further down in the row. Same with the bottom, it's going to then move it further down in the row. So I do recommend leaving these if you're not sure what you're doing at this point and you want to have a play around before you start fully customizing. So always use columns like I said, and everything will fit right in as it should. Remember, we have templates that have all the columns in there and everything. So you can go in and just change them out, or you can duplicate certain parts of the page. Now the typography, we went over this a little bit because you get that when you click an element that has words in it. But you can also fully customize it here if you want to. So you can add text shadow and stuff like that. You can obviously change the font size and all that kind of stuff, just like you can quickly and easily here. However, you can't add shadow on this here. So therefore you might want to add a little bit of shadow, and you can do so by turning up the numbers here. So the text shadow for H is the one that goes left, V is the one that goes right, and blur is how thick the blur is on that shadow. You can also choose the shadow color as well if you'd like to. Now, decoration. So this will be the border radius of that row. So let's say you want to have a border above or around where your text is. You can do that here. So all you do is you just choose the padding again. Sorry, you choose the thickness of the radius of the border. You can choose the color down here. You can choose the style as well. So there's plenty of different styles if you want to make it a little bit more customized and a little bit more stylish. Now, the extras. So what you do here is you just press add, and you can choose ease in, ease out, linear. You can choose these different transformations for things to come onto your page. Now, this is really advanced stuff. If you want to keep it simple, then you can do this. But if you want to play around after you've created a few funnels, then you can also go in this here, because it's going to be a really cool feature and make your pages look really nice. So as you can see, the transform thing, you've got the box shadows, all this kind of stuff which you can have a play around with. Now, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you all the elements and what they do. So now you've got a really good feel for how these funnels are put together. So we're dragging rows in, we're always putting columns on top of rows, and we're also using a container for when we put all of this stuff in. We can also add columns like I showed you, so that you can add even more padding and you can move things around the page. Now, like I said, the templates as well will have all this stuff on here. So do not worry if you're not sure about this, or if your funnels aren't seeming to work because you can't get your head around it. Don't worry, just rewatch this video, and if you are really stuck, then just use templates. And also, if you would like us to do some of it for you, then if you're really stuck and it's your last resort, then please message the help desk. Now, let's take a look at the types of elements which can go on these funnels. So we have images. So you'd simply drag and drop it into a column if you want it to be in line with something like I showed you before. To get the image, you just double click on it and it will pop up where you can upload or use one you've already uploaded. You'll also get the sizing as well. On here it will tell you which size to use. You can also easily move it, make it bigger or smaller, place it in the center or the right hand side, however you want to do it with this easy pop-up editor. Now, you can also fully customize with the settings on the right hand side. So we just went through a few of them, which is obviously the dimensions, typography and stuff like that. However, the general settings will be what you're looking for if you're looking to do something new. So you can use the alternative text to add stuff like your SEO and all that stuff if you really need to do this. You can also choose the padding, stuff like that, like I just said. But I recommend leaving it and using columns for your first few funnels. So let's just go ahead and remove the image. And now let's choose the video one. So let's pop a video under here. Now we're just going to double tap on the video to bring up the settings on the right hand side so that you can see how you can set these up. The video feature is really cool. You can choose to autoplay. You can choose the video URL, and there's a couple of other features in there too, which are going to help you do what you want to do with this software using video, whether you're doing webinars, whether you're doing bonus pages, whatever it is, you can do it with Bossfunnels. So you just double tap on the video, and on the right hand side you're going to see the general settings. So you can show the controls of the video, you can loop the video, you can autoplay the video. There's all these nice settings which you might want on your funnels. You also put the source on here, so you can choose where the video came from. So whether you want to use HTML, Vimeo, YouTube, you just pop the ID in here and it's going to pop up on this page. Now that's for the video. So let's continue to go through these elements. You've already seen the headers, the text. So let me just show you the paragraph now. So let's just drag a paragraph on here and you'll be able to see that you can add things to your paragraph. So you can change the dimension, you can do the decorations, you can do loads of stuff in here. Also the typography like we showed before, the extras of the transitions and all this kind of stuff. So let's go and look at the next part of the elements. So we have the link. So this would be a basic link which you can drag on top of anything you like as a text link. Choose where you want it to go and stuff like that. So that's very simple stuff. Now, form labels. So this is going to be the label that goes on top of your form. So you're going to drag forms out there and then the label can pop in on top of your form if you want it to. You've got the other form template here. Now this will have the button and the email address box and also the label of that form. Now you've got 3 different types of leads here. You can either get phone number, email address or Skype. So what you do is you just drag it where you want it like I showed you. So you just tap on the button. So the person will put their email address in, they'll press send and it will go to the page which you selected inside the template area. So another couple of cool things, you've got countdowns here. So you can use the countdown timer. I'm running out of space here, so I'm going to just delete a column. So you've got the countdown timer and you can customize the timer, you can choose the time obviously, and all that stuff just by clicking up here into the settings. You can obviously change the colors and all that stuff. You can change borders, everything like that using the fully customizable extras down here of decorations and transform and stuff like that. Now, that's it for all of the elements. I hope you can see how easy it is once you get the hang of it, dragging elements everywhere. Now join me in the next video where I show you how to use the viral share element so that you can get even more traffic when you just send one visitor to this page. So you'll get a viral share of traffic and leads which will end up in your autoresponder or in your dashboard. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.